Hey, Mr. Herring, let me go over my ideas with you. All right, in this slide, let's start right here. What makes this clump of trees look jungly and messy is just that they're not really defined. So what I recommend is that the lower limbs we remove, and then it starts to look like a patch of trees and not just a mess. Over here, this describes the bed line and where we'll be putting gravel in the beds. These beds I will be cleaning out. This bed somewhat cleaning out, keeping the crepe myrtle, obviously keeping these trees. But mostly what we're looking at cleaning out is just the messy stuff that's gotten in there. All right, as we move along, this shows you this is the grass that is kept. You already have this grass, we're keeping it, but the other grass gets killed. I have an edge here that may be mulch, and then this is pine straw through there. This shows you where we've added in live oaks or some sort of an oak tree through there. Again, I'm looking at naturalizing this and doing a bit of a screening. This shows just a canopy that's been added to those trees. I did draw it in the first time so you can see it a little bit more clearly. I like the loropetalum bush. I'm looking at taking that theme over here on this edge and extending the loropetalum through there. That gives you further screening. Then these crepe myrtles, they need to be in full sun. So I've taken them from over here in the shade and I'm putting them right here on the corner where they're going to get more sun, and they're going to have a little bit more visual appeal because they'll be able to bloom because they're in the sunlight. This is just another perspective of how this turns out. The grass that you have is lawn. It will be turned into a path. The rest of this is killed and left to really be given back to nature. This area over here, really prevalent corner in this location. What I recommend doing is adding in Japanese maples through here. I can get some very affordable green seed grown Japanese maples, and particularly in the fall, this is going to look very, very attractive in that location. Other thing you mentioned, you need more parking space, so we can create more parking space in there. Same thing over here. There's opportunity for more parking space here. But one of the things I also wanted to point out to you is you got some pretty invasive plants in here. So I recommend taking out the Elaeagnus, taking out the kudzu, expanding this ground and adding more gravel in here so that you can get more parking space in there. This is the kudzu and this is the Elaeagnus that I recommend taking out. In this location, all I'm communicating visually here to you is that the path stays, and then this area over here, it becomes naturalized. Let me draw your attention to this. So part of the reason why this mud builds up is dust accumulates on the driveway. Everything goes to this point and then it hits the grass and all the mud accumulates. One of the ways that we can help reduce that problem is simply adding in a drain box and then trench out to here where it can go into the woods or go away. But by allowing that water to flow into this box and out, it doesn't become as much of a dam where it's going to hold it up. All right, let's move around the house and talk about where we put gravel. These bushes come out, this one stays. Looking at starting gravel on this corner. As we move towards the front, I recommend cleaning this. I recommend removing these shrubs, digging down some here, essentially removing shrub, digging down some, and then adding gravel in here. And I'll update you later on what we can do in terms of gravel. Let's pull our eye to this area. I recommend limbing this camellia up some, letting it grow a little bit taller, almost so that the end goal is to almost give you a canopy that you could walk underneath it. One more perspective of this job, looking at doing gravel in the beds that go around here. I didn't see much of a need to add gravel over here, but gravel in the beds through here. This becomes naturalized, giving it back to nature. The grass that's lawn becomes path that ties in here. So you're drastically reducing the amount of grass that you have. We're putting in live oaks through here, trying to create shade, trying to create leaf drops, and ultimately reduce the amount of maintenance that you have. And that is the end of the show. I'll put all this into estimate for you, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much, Corey with Creative Habitats.